Hey everybody, Christopher Rod here, and I'm going to show you some War of the Chosen gameplay. I just got back from California, the 2K headquarters there, and had a really great time. Spent some time with the team, getting to know War of the Chosen. I was also there with some of the online publications like GameSpot, IGN. If you guys want to check out really detailed written reviews, for sure go and check those guys out. I'm going to jump right in here and talk about some of the new things that are going on. I was super surprised at how many new mechanics were in place for War of the Chosen. And we just flew by it there, but there's a bond system in place where you can form these unique bonds between certain soldiers, kind of like a relationship system, and they can gain additional perks to use out in the battlefield that are really quite powerful. Once that happens, you get to make this meme or a poster. You can also do this with any of your soldiers individually. Totally just a fun thing. Like, we had tons of fun just making memes and posters at the event. It was really enjoyable, and I like that they've implemented some things that are light and fluffy, but that's just like scratching the surface. So we're gonna get into the actual mission here, and I'll be quiet for a second while this runs.
The Skirmishers are Advent. Advent is the enemy. The enemy is food.
Try not to bring that up when we meet, Volk.
You take their side after all we've seen these years.
Look, I'm not exactly having drinks with them, but they did hold up their end of the bargain. What about you?
Wait and see. Volk out.
Actually think they might show up. Commander, that was Konstantin Volokov, Volk to his friends. He and his Reapers are a big part of the reason why you're standing here today. Volk may be a little rough around the edges, but he's the real deal. Heads one of 3 resistance groups operating independently from us that we consider a legitimate threat to Advent. Together, they'd make one hell of a fighting force. Too bad they hate each other. Still, we've made some unlikely progress. Volk's Reapers may have found you, but they weren't acting alone. They were tipped off by a group of Advent defectors known as the Skirmishers. No one's big on working with these guys, knowing where they came from. But you wouldn't be here without their help. Both the Reapers and the Skirmishers have agreed to suspend hostilities provided you serve as the go-between. Trust doesn't come easy between these two, so we're heading for a nice, quiet spot on neutral ground. Even so, let's not take any chances. Intel on this area is weak, and we're picking up strange chatter on comms. Not to mention we're ending a decade-long blood feud today. I'd advise our soldiers to be fully prepared before we deploy on this one, Commander. Good luck.
So basically, Volk's coming to us to work as an intermediary between these 2 resistance factions, the Reapers and the Skirmishers, and we're going to facilitate this meeting.
Not sure how long our contacts are going to wait for us, Commander, so I'd recommend we proceed as soon as possible. All available soldiers are standing by to deploy.
Setting course.
You can see some subtle, like, interface differences, and I won't stop to talk about every single one of them, but I am honestly very surprised at the amount of polish that's gone in here.
To escort them to the rendezvous point. Hopefully that should be enough to keep them from killing each other. We've got a temporary ceasefire in place for the duration of the meet, but still, that doesn't mean we shouldn't be ready for anything.
So what we're looking to do is build out 2 squads of 2, and the mission is going to be basically a pronged mission. You're going to start with 2 soldiers. We're going to try and accomplish the objective. Then we're going to switch over to the next pair of soldiers that we picked, and then we're going to all meet for the final leg of the mission. You can see here that I'm going through the new menu system that shows different levels of compatibility that impacts the bond system. We will get to it a little bit later, but there's also a fatigue system built in now that impacts your soldiers' will and other things. And if you take out fatigue soldiers, then you can get some pretty negative benefits. Kind of some things that have been stolen from Long War and other big overhaul modifications. Maybe I shouldn't say stolen. Let's just say gracefully implemented into the base game. Eh? Okay, so I think we're ready to go, and we're gonna send out our soldiers and get a motivating speech from Bradford before we touch down. show you guys what War of the Chosen's all about.
Sky Ranger deployed.
In position for deployment.
The Reapers and Skirmishers have been at each other's throats for years, so we're keeping the exact meeting points strictly need to know. You'll split into 2 squads, rendezvous with each faction, and bring their envoy directly to the location of the meet. Officially, this city no longer exists, so we don't expect a lot in the way of advent resistance. Still, keep your eyes peeled. It's been about 20 years since we last stepped foot in this place. Proceed to the first set of coordinates. Firebrand and the second team will head to the next drop point. Detecting increasing biological signatures in the area ahead. Then I'd say we're in the right place. Stay sharp out there today, people. Just because this city was abandoned doesn't mean it's lifeless.
If you are hungry, there's more where that came from. Impressive reflexes, but unnecessary.
Stand down. We're all friends here.
You are safe here. More so than you imagine. We shall see if the same holds true for these skirmishers of yours. Your presence already disturbs them. We must move quickly. My people will take care of this camp. Come.
Uploading the coordinates to the rendezvous point now. We've plotted the most direct route there. We don't know much about the skirmisher contact you'll be meeting other than his name. Mox.
Mox. Praetor Mox. His death squads wiped out entire camps of my people in the first years of the war. You would dare do this?
Pretty sure hands are bloody on both sides of this fight. That's the whole point of this intervention.
Reapers are born in the shadows, in the cold, harsh world that was waiting for us out there. We rely on stealth and long-range attacks, and our marksmen are unmatched by even the best Xcom has to offer.
Okay, so a few things to point out here. Number one, I love that there's new narrative, there's new like actual story elements involved with these different factions.
Damaged and dormant all these years, these devices still emit trace elements of unstable radiation. I cannot fathom what they were like in their original function.
We were there, Doctor. You're better off having missed it. These two are working together like a well-oiled machine. As long as we keep them close to each other in the field, they'll reap various tactical benefits as their bond continues to grow.
Okay, well, Bradford summarized the Bond thing again for us. The second thing I was going to point out was the new level design and the new areas that we can enter into. I particularly love, you'll see that we're running up the ladder to the second level of this building. I particularly love the elevated sequences that we're going to run into, and I try to utilize those as much as I can. A, for strategy, and B, because it's way more fun. So you can see here, this is Jamie Lawrence, who is bonded with the other soldier, and they have an ability in the 4th slot that will basically grant the other one an extra action point if they want to use it. It can only be used once between the pair, but that's something that you get from having a bond with another soldier. I believe that there are also proximity benefits if they're fighting near each other on the battlefield, but I don't have total clarity on that yet, so don't quote me. But I do believe that that is something that's implemented.
On Overwatch.
So notice I'm trying to take the high ground with our hybrid stealth sharpshooter Reaper here, and we're about to run into the first enemy in War of the Chosen called the Lost.
Enemies down.
Now, to summarize this, basically the Lost implements a mechanic where you get headshots. So if you kill them in a single shot, it counts as a quote-unquote headshot, refunds the action, and you get to keep shooting.
If we are careful with our shots, we will prevail.
X-ray neutralized.
These creatures' DNA has mutated well beyond what we would classify as human. Perhaps the result of long-term exposure to the alien radiation from those pods. Though why anyone would subject themselves to that, I cannot imagine.
When the governments fell, millions starved. Many fled to cities such as this to scavenge for food. They did not heed the warnings.
So one of the first questions is what happens with these guys on higher difficulties? And I asked Mark Nada, who is the lead designer on this project, and he was explaining that the mechanic still needs to work. Like, if these guys just have more health, it's going to be almost impossible to guarantee one-shot kills on them. The idea is that there would be more of them at harder difficulties, and they would try to just swarm you that way instead of through having higher health, which kind of negates the mechanic altogether, so.
Yeah, I didn't get it.
I love this new area, and I can't wait to see more missions in these type of zones.
These beings before. At first,
I think they're super sharp.
Mindless, but they hear quite well. In great numbers, they can be very deadly. Let's try reposition.
So she's kind of giving us a little bit of a tip there. If we use things like explosives or any type of rockets or things like that that would attract a lot of attention, you have chances of drawing additional lost towards you, which can then make things quite a bit more challenging.
What was that?
Now soon here we're going to get to see the new stealth mechanic that the Reapers have. It's basically a dice roll chance to be revealed.
They have no cause, no fear, they simply exist. If we do not defeat the aliens soon, we will become little more than they are.
I can't help but think that there was some serious inspiration taken from Destiny when designing the Reapers. So cool looking, they sound similar. I think it's a really good fit for the genre. I'm so excited to get my hands on all of these different factions and see how that changes the gameplay entirely, because it will. This is gonna be massive.
Kill confirmed.
We risk all this for pray tell
Now
what?
this mission.
If he is not what you say he is, I shall kill him myself.
Looking forward to this meeting already.
Okay, before I talk about this mission, let's look at this little interface just for Dragonova here, our Reaper. She's got the cool little the scope for the sniper rifle, and we didn't trigger the chance to be revealed there. So we took a shot, we were under the 50%, and we stayed concealed. Really, really cool mechanic. But you'll notice that the next time now, if we want to take another shot, it's at 80% to get revealed. So that would go up with continuous actions where eventually you're just going to be revealed.
Heading out.
And in my limited experimentation, more often than not, I was revealed, but it's 50-50, so. I don't know if that scales with difficulty. I don't know what other factors can implement or can impact that. I would imagine that there might be some perks that make it more likely that you would stay concealed. That's a total guess here, but I could see that being a thing.
I see everything.
Central.
I really just like the
Biological
overlay
signatures
that they
are
made
grouping into a
for
singular mass, one closing in
the
on this
Reapers.
position.
Like, I love that little sniper scope. I wish there was more of that, to be honest, on some of the regular soldiers, but I guess it could be a little bit overbearing as well.
On the move.
Heading to that location.
So, going back to what I started saying earlier, this mission is designed to be pretty straightforward and pretty easy to introduce players to the mechanics of the Lost.
Now you risk everything for your dreams of peace.
If you haven't noticed, the aliens have been kicking our planet's ass for the past 20 years. You think maybe it's time we try something else?
If only your speeches could take down these cursed creatures. Fresh targets.
See, she's a fan of Bradford's speeches as well. It's good. Who isn't? Who isn't?
Though their
So we're gonna make our way
intelligence
towards
appears
the
almost
escape route.
These creatures seem to employ some sort of rudimentary communication system. Perhaps auditory signals or some form of hive-like consciousness.
Your point, Doctor?
The entire swarm knows there is food here now. I would advise we make haste to leave this area.
Extraction point is close. It looks like these things don't want to make it easy for you.
We will make it to your pet advent in time.
Central, the preliminary readings from these creatures seem familiar. I will need to consult my records, but I may have encountered something similar to them during my time with Advent.
I wouldn't be the least bit surprised if Advent had a hand in their creation, Doctor.
I have
The shadows
almost no
save us.
ammo.
So you can see there, we were just revealed. The chance to stay concealed was incredibly low, but we're near the end of the mission now, and so revealing is not such a big issue. A cool little quirk with the sniper. So you'll see here that we're actually out of ammunition, but we can get a reload in. We can keep firing because we had the two actions to start with. So if the soldier has a pistol, you can also switch to that, and you can just keep taking them out. There is a high variability in their health pools, though, like you see anywhere from 2 to 4. I think that might scale like slightly on difficulty. You might see some with 5 at higher difficulties, but you're gonna mostly be relying on the larger numbers in higher difficulties to slow you down. So with that, we're gonna dash for the end zone here, and we've met our task, and now we're gonna switch over to the other group.
You should have a clear path through now. Second squad is already en route to Mox. Proceed to the rendezvous and await their arrival.
Oh, we'll be there.
Looks like trouble ahead. The rendezvous could be compromised. Stay focused. Contact! Get down! We may have a bigger problem here. I'm guessing that's our man. Well, our contact anyway.
Crop side. Advent. Hobbit. Lost Holla. 410. They were sent here to hunt, to purge the Drop 10, the Lost. Our meeting point is still secure. She is free of the imposter gods. I would give anything that all my kind could say the same. Even sit down with your Reapers. Now, we must go.
Rendezvous with Outrider is further ahead. Proceed through this district as quickly as possible, but be careful. Something tells me this city still has a few more surprises to throw our way.
Surprises are the least of our worries today. It is these Reapers of yours that are of true concern.
We, the Skirmishers skirmishers were created by the false gods of this world to serve and die as their puppets. We retain all that we were and more, and our prowess in battle serves us well in our cause. In close combat, none can stand opposed to us. I move.
Moving to Overwatch.
So as you can see, this is where we meet Mox and the Skirmisher faction. The Skirmishers have a unique position on the battlefield in the sense that they can use their action points however they want. So they can shoot twice, they can shoot then move, or they can move then shoot. So it makes them pretty flexible, but capable of taking 2 shots every time, which is pretty exceptional. Kind of like the custom infantry class. He's also got a pretty cool, like, he's got the grappling hook. There's a classic through the truck XCOM shot. We totally saw that, no big deal. He does have a grappling hook as well that he can use offensively as well as to reposition.
Don't remember seeing these things before.
Now, this is a new enemy type. It's called the Purifier.
To contain the Drop 10, the Lost. We must eliminate this patrol quickly before others arrive.
Fine by me. Take them down.
Got him.
The patrol has been liberated.
It's pretty cool design, like Titan-esque,
Lost in vain.
if you will.
We must push forward and complete our mission.
Works for me. Move out.
And I do believe that I utilize his offensive grappling hook coming up soon here, and it's really cool. Very powerful attack that like grabs an enemy towards you for a kill right next to you. It's pretty strong.
Locked and loaded.
I am reloading.
Okay, I'll go.
So again, I'm going to try to take advantage of the heights as much as possible. I do this in regular gameplay whenever I can, but I really dig these new environments. I think they're fairly dynamic, and it's just a welcome addition because once you play a lot of XCOM, you see the same map types over and over.
This is no patrol. It's an army.
Yes, one we do not have time to face.
Everyone, get back!
Remember what we said earlier about the Lost being attracted to loud noises?
Purifiers may be down, but unfortunately, that was our extraction point.
I fear that is not the worst of it. Multiple biological signatures rapidly on approach to your position.
The Lost. The sound of combat excite them. They are drawn to it.
And you just blew up a fuel truck?
There was no other choice. Find an alternate exit. We will deal with the Lost. Draklar. Dashers. They are not as docile as the rest of their kind.
An apt description. It would seem the mutation has somehow accelerated these Dashers' metabolism, allowing enhanced speed and agility, with a corresponding increase in aggression.
Confirmed.
That sounds lovely. We have to hold our position for 4 turns, which at the beginning, you know, sounds like a piece of cake, but again, higher difficulties are going to make this pretty intense. The main challenge, I think, from dealing with this Lost comes down to the risk of missing the shot versus how much damage is possible when you actually do hit a shot. So what I mean by that is because some enemies have 3 health, 4 health, 5 health, 2 health, targeting them and which ones you target in which order become the most important thing.
That is not good.
My failure is my own.
When this happened, I was pretty sure that we were about to wipe here, but
I'll get him next time.
we missed 3 shots in a row on the luckiest Lost of all time.
Shockwave of that explosion reverberated
And we're
throughout
surrounded.
most of the city. I would expect a significant reaction from the Lost.
The only reaction I will accept from them is their deaths. Find us that exit.
Target neutralized.
So here I'm basically weighing out the options of who to shoot in what order. Knowing that we can only do 3 to 5 damage, I opted for the guys with the lowest health first so that we could chain as many together. That said, if we would have missed any of those early shots, then it was all for naught anyway. So
No longer a threat. Enemies down.
the way that I kind of evolved to dealing with these Lost is to have one soldier do as many actions as possible. Once they were out of actions because they missed, then I would transfer over to somebody else. I'm not convinced yet that that's the best thing, but... So the snipers actually have a lot of impact dealing with the Lost, especially if you get to upgraded pistols and things like that. They can obviously use their sniper rifle, but then they can use things like lightning hands, they can use their pistol for continuous shots, etc., etc. As long as they're hitting and killing. But your snipers with higher accuracy normally should be pretty good in these scenarios. You can imagine some of the upgraded perks where they get to take a shot at everything they can see becomes pretty great as well. But there's the new mechanic where we grapple him in and kill him. But face off I don't think it triggers the headshot mechanic. So although it might be great at dealing with a large swarm of these enemies, it's going to be very specific when you would want to use it, because you can manually target everything otherwise. So now we're getting flanked from behind a little bit. I have no idea how many of these Lost are behind us. So I'm just kind of trying to decide, do I want to bring my sniper down here or leave him up top, potentially getting flanked?
I guess that'll be okay.
I think it makes sense to group everybody up, so that's what I ended up doing.
Come get some.
Reloading. I await their approach.
Which paid off, because we do end up getting somebody coming over the top there that could have been a bit of an issue. We would have had Overwatch. Maybe we could have killed him.
Good to go. Overwatch.
Would have been close. Regardless, here we are. So one more turn left, but
these Lost seem to be pretty sensitive to noise. The sounds of combat are likely to draw even more of them. We found a new route that should get you to the rendezvous point safely. The Lost are still converging on the area, so make it fast.
That will not be a problem.
and while it is tempting, if you run into a batch of Lost, to just throw a grenade or something, A, it doesn't trigger the headshot mechanic, and B, can draw attention from others, so it's not always the best thing. Although I believe later in the last leg of the mission, I do end up using a grenade against a bunch of them, which is pretty fun.
Missed. I got it right.
So you can see, like, with 3 soldiers, yes, they have low health, but if you get more of them on higher difficulties, more Lost, it's gonna be tough to deal with, especially on a small squad like this. So I'm just looking at where's the best place to position Mox here. With the Lost, cover doesn't really matter. The only thing that it really does is makes it so that they have to walk around the cover, which can limit the amount that they can actually move towards you. But otherwise, it's not really a big factor against these guys.
Missed the target.
So I started off with lightning hands on the lowest shot percentage on somebody that I could kill, knowing that if I missed, I would still have all of my other regular abilities, regular shots available. But we missed. And when that happens, it's very discouraging because you look at this, you're like, oh, no problem. I can take these guys down. They don't have a lot of health, but then you miss that 80% shot or that 85% shot and your whole plan just goes down the, you know what.
Burning through ammo fast. Enemy down. I'm ready.
Luckily, Yu Ying Zhao cleans up house for us. Gets the reload in between, keeps going.
Scanning.
And unfortunately can't see those other two that are back there.
Shot failed to connect.
Now we got pretty lucky on the positioning here, being that they could only really manage to get right next to us. They couldn't actually do any damage. Had we been any closer, not good.
Nailed him. Weapons burning ammo fast.
I don't think they're in a position to one-shot any of our soldiers by any stretch of the imagination, due to the extra health that we have, but could have been bad.
Kill confirmed. Oh yeah, I'm out. It's down.
Reloading ammunition.
If you say so.
Non-evade detection.
So now it feels safe. We're gonna start moving towards the secondary route, the exit. Make sure everybody's reloaded, and hopefully fight our way out of here.
I guess that'll be okay.
Hopefully being the key word.
Moving to Overwatch.
We have another swarm coming, so I'm just trying to position ourselves to deal with that via an Overwatch as efficiently as possible. Now, I know I said that cover didn't matter, but because I didn't know it was coming up at the time, whether it was just going to be more lost or, like, who knows what else we're going to run into, I always tried to take cover where I could as we were advancing.
It's dead. It has to be dead.
The Overwatch cam is probably the best thing that's ever been implemented into Xcom, in my opinion. It's just so clean, it makes everything feel so, like,
Hostile neutralized.
polished.
Target eliminated. Could use some ammo over here.
Once again, Yu Jing Zhao is just destroying Lost like it's her job, which it basically is.
Hostile neutralized.
And in my opinion, like, I don't think there's a lot of reason to switch to other soldiers until you miss with one. In this scenario, I was just kind of excited to get towards the end, so I was just switching it up. This was a bit of a worry moment as well. Had no idea that we had extra loss behind the truck.
I got it right.
And luckily, that guy only had 2 health, so we could use the pistol to kill him.
Roger that. 10-4.
And with that, I think we're just going to dash to the end, and then we're heading out to the third leg of the mission.
Outrider and the first team should be waiting for you ahead. I know this wasn't the easiest stop, but I have to believe it'll still be worth it in the end.
That depends on the Reapers.
Rendezvous point directly ahead. Let's try and play nice today, people.
So, Advent's most brutal captain comes to atone for his crimes.
I am no longer that being. I am free now.
Taking off that helmet does not change what you are. Reapers have long memories. Elder Cruxard. Anytime
The way I see it, we have two options. Join forces and kick the Elders off our world, or kill each other here and now. The choice is yours.
No one has ever done that before. No one shall ever do that again.
What the hell is that?
Vox Prima, Elder Assassin, relentless death that stalks my kind, butcher of freed Advent.
My people face another like her. They are the undying, Advent's curse upon us. We must combine strength if we are to have any chance of success.
You are welcome to try.
Your Reapers face a being such as this?
They appeared without warning years ago. Had they not, we would have already regained our home.
Such arrogance. The Elders will extend throughout the universe. I am but one of their instruments.
So she alludes to being one of their instruments, and that is true. The Chosen consists of the Assassin, the Warlock, and the Hunter.
Where you tell me.
It's these 3 different individuals that all want to take down Xcom. I wouldn't say that they're necessarily working together, though, which kind of makes things interesting.
Time to reload. Let's do this.
Now, I have no idea where she's going to show up.
I'm ready.
She's gone. We know she's here. I'm just taking cover wherever I think is going to be safe, which is usually high ground here. Preparing for what is eventually going to be, in my eyes, an imminent disaster. But here she is. So this screen is really, really cool. She's got some strengths and some weaknesses, as you can see. So she's immune to explosions, does not trigger Overwatch or reaction fire, takes additional damage from 3+ attacks in 1 turn, and then I believe the last one was taking extra damage from Reapers. Now what's really cool about that is those strengths and weaknesses are generated dynamically every campaign. So they will be different every time you encounter these Chosen guys, which I love. I think when I saw that, I was like, you know what? I wish there was more of this in the original game, where it makes these encounters more unique every single time, especially when you're replaying it. Exceptional. I'm so excited to see what all of those possibilities are. So she's since disappeared. I have no idea where she is, and I'm just thinking, okay, I should probably set up for an Overwatch ambush. So that's what I do. And well, stay tuned. I keep bringing up the strengths and weaknesses again just to remind myself of what I should prioritize.
Target position now.
The explosives are not going to help us.
On the move.
We're still concealed with Dragonova, so we can use that to move in once we can locate her, but until then. And here she goes. So, she strikes from invisibility, which is pretty scary. Also puts us in a daze, and then we have yet another new mechanic that we can utilize to get out of that.
The resurgence of Xcom ends today.
It looks like the Chosen knocked one of our soldiers into a daze. We need to get someone over there to help them get back on their feet before that thing can move in and attack.
So we have a non-medic ability that anybody can use to just go over and revive somebody that has been dazed. But what I'm thinking is, even though she is immune to explosive damage, I'm curious as if she's immune to fall damage. And so I decide to try and take her out here and see what happens.
It will shake them.
So she does take fall damage, and now she's exposed. So this is our opportunity to take her down. And I'm thinking we have more than enough to kill her, so let's just start hacking away where we can.
I had not expected this conflict to be so exhilarating. You surprised me, Xcom.
And guess what?
The Elder's will is that none survive this day. I cannot leave that
She's gone.
button.
She left us.
The sonic dispersal waves
And she will come
emitting
back.
from that pod are crisscrossing a massive area.
And as she's gone, she summoned all of these Lost to take us down.
Meaning that thing just rang the dinner bell for every remaining Lost in the city.
An accurate assessment. The entire lost biomass seems to be converging on this position.
Then let's get you all the hell out of there. Firebrand's en route to the evac coordinates now. Get moving.
Now you're probably thinking, okay, that was pretty easy. I mean, yeah, but we're also on the normal difficulty that they set up for the test for the press people. So I wouldn't expect it to go that smoothly in the future, to be quite honest. I think it was good to take out the floor, which dropped her into no cover, and then we could kind of do whatever we wanted there. So that worked out nicely. Now I am going to use that bond ability that we had to give an extra action point to our other soldier here, Jamie, because she's in a much better position to deal with these guys. And the reason that that soldier auto-revived was because the Chosen left. So had she been there, he would have still been down until we went and revived him.
Hostile target down.
We still do have the Claymore from Dragonova, which I'm going to use towards the end of this mission.
Moving on target
It's interesting. I'm not sure the best way to use it yet. There's obvious implications for using it against these Lost guys to take out a bunch of them at once, but
Death to the invaders.
there you go. 50% chance to reveal, and we are live. Now, I don't think I've panned over to where we need to evac yet, but we have to make our way through this building, which is not an insignificant amount of space to cover by any stretch of the imagination.
On Overwatch. Locked and loaded.
So I'll take this time to maybe talk about some of the other impacts that I think of when the War of the Chosen was explained to us.
Almost coordinated attack strategy. Perhaps they're not the mindless automatons they initially appeared to be. An intriguing, if not horrific, possibility.
I just don't want to cut off Tygan when I don't have to. So the first thing I thought of, well, what happens to the rulers? And the rulers have actually been changed a little bit to compensate for this. They no longer have an attack after every move. I believe that the way that they work now is that they can move after every turn, but they can't necessarily attack you after every turn. So they're kind of nerfed in a sense that way. And there's also, I believe, some safeguards in place so that they don't end up on the same missions as the Chosen, I think. But they've been changed to compensate for these new Chosen guys, as you can imagine.
Has been sending Purifier squads into these cities for years, yet somehow the Lost survive, even thrive. We do not know why.
Headed there now.
Now, the other faction that we haven't met is the Templar faction. So we met the Reapers, we met the Skirmishers, and they're pretty chatty. I'm not sure how the Templars are going to play into that, but the fact that we still have another faction to meet and probably has their own storyline, that's awesome to me. That makes playing through XCOM super exciting again, and I can't wait until this is ready to rock. We've also only met one of the Chosen. We met the Assassin. It's also the Warlock and the Hunter. Each, of course, with their own unique abilities. I would recommend that if you guys want to see more in depth as to what each of the faction classes do and the Chosen, I guess let's call them bosses, do, The Xcom website has videos dedicated to each of those. You can also see that there are 4 new enemy types listed. So we've already met the Lost, we ran into the Purifiers, but there's also these guys called Spectres and Priests. So you can kind of imagine or infer what they might do just based on the names, but I'm excited to see how they come into this as well. I'm mostly just excited because it's fresh, you know?
Still, I feel revulsion at what happens in this place to these people.
I believe you.
And a little spoiler alert, I do have another mission to show you guys. It's a new type of Haven defense mission, and you can see some of the influences from other mods that have been released. It's really well done, and I had the chance to watch a couple of other people that did different missions, and there's a ton of new stuff in here. There's a ton of new mission types, which is going to keep things super fresh and keep you on your toes. And then I also mentioned earlier the fatigue system, so you can't just keep taking your same soldiers time over time. I like that. I think it's going to be a challenge, but I'm really looking forward to the new XCOM experience. And that's kind of what I feel this is. This is not just a simple add-on. This is not Alien Hunters. This is not Shen's Last Gift, right? This is a significant expansion that is kind of in the realm of what Enemy Within was to Enemy Unknown, where that just becomes the base game that you play, because there's so many new mechanics that if you're playing with the War of the Chosen, it's basically a new game of XCOM.
If they are all like you, that is a likely possibility.
So I'm just going to let this roll through to near the end of the mission. I am thinking in this scenario, I'm using the Claymore as more of a proximity mine. That was what was going through my mind because I had never used it before. However, you do have to follow up and destroy the Claymore for it to go off. But cool thing is anybody can shoot it. So I'm gonna be quiet for a little bit while we play out the rest of this mission. If there's anything interesting that comes up that I feel the need to touch on, then I will. But I'll come back in at the end of the mission.
I must have miscalculated. Come on, focus!
Enemy destroyed. Detecting additional Lost converging near the evacuation coordinates. I advise caution. It would seem the Lost are on to our strategy.
It is the Elder's will that this alliance fall. It will take more than mere lost for that to happen.
On the move.
Moving there.
Confirmed.
Moving to position. What's over there?
I'm
on site.
Back in.
Adjusting aim.
Says hello.
I definitely got that one.
I must improve.
Target down.
Firebrand's in position, but the evac zone's even hotter than we thought. Running out of time here, people.
Tell her to hold as long as she can. We will be there.
It's dead! It has to be dead! Ready to rock! Hostile neutralized. Hostiles pacified. Target neutralized. Burning through ammo fast.
I will move.
Rolling.
Heading out.
I loaded these cartridges myself.
That's it. Good to go. Back online.
I will watch.
Come get some.
Affirmative. Covering now.
I see everything.
Come get some. Come on!
Moving!
I must focus my
I will be
strength.
disappointed.
Central, the sheer magnitude of the biomass converging upon this position is staggering. If our team does not evacuate now...
Trust me, Doctor. They know. Grenade! Target's cleared.
Target neutralized. Hostile terminated. X-ray neutralized. Running dry. Target eliminated. I'm ready to go. Power over here.
I have little ammo remaining.
Position confirmed.
Reloading ammunition. Their casualties grow.
Okay, I'll go. Moving to Overwatch.
I am watching.
Get it together. I'm on it. Hostile target down. Target neutralized. Hostile terminated. Task empty. Can't engage. Good copy. Moving on target. Nailed him.
As you command.
Good copy. Moving on target.
My life is in your hands.
I guess that'll be okay. Got
I
it covered.
stand
My
ready.
turn on
Got it
watch.
covered.
I have failed us.
Missed. Enemies down. Okay.
Yes, Commander.
I'm on the move.
On your order.
Volk says I am to obey.
What's over there? Scanning.
Reloading weapon.
Moving to
Moving to
overwatch.
Keep an eye on it.
On Overwatch. Enemy eliminated. I got it right. Good to go.
As you order. Their service is over.
Moving out.
Fire in the hole!
Enemies neutralized.
On the move.
I will reposition.
Scanning. Moving to Overwatch.
I will not waver.
Overwatch.
Reapers are always vigilant. Return to your gods.
Good riddance.
I did nothing.
X-ray neutralized. Check it before you get too close. Moving to position.
I am trusting you.
If you say so. Moving to designated coordinates.
I go.
Roger that.
The entire swarm converges upon us. We cannot hold this position much longer.
Outrider to Avenger, where the hell's our exit?
This is as low as I can get her.
No! I do not intend to die this day. I will follow. Fox Tala 410.
Time to return home, traitor.
How cool is that? So she took Mox, and I would imagine that there's going to be a mission where we're going to have to go and rescue him, which is going to be fantastic all on its own.
It was no easy task, but we managed to get the Reapers and the Skirmishers to cooperate.
So the cool thing is, Dragonova is
That
with
in
us.
itself is an accomplishment.
We may have chosen a different means of resistance, but our people fight for the same reason, for the world we once knew. Together we will end this occupation. Or die trying.
The Resistance factions take a more flexible approach to training than traditional soldiers. They can often learn multiple new abilities with each promotion.
So, you'll notice that there are different amounts of AP that they can use to upgrade these skills. There's Xcom AP, and then there's Soldier AP. You gain AP by doing certain things out on the battlefield, like if you get a kill from high ground is one that I had in my playthrough. There's different, like if you flank somebody, you can potentially get points from that.
Commander, each of our soldiers is rated based on their understanding of our tactics and capabilities, something we refer to as combat intelligence. Because of their unique experiences in the field, our faction soldiers from the Resistance will gain
Thank you,
access
Bradford.
to new
So
abilities
basically,
based
each
on
individual
this
soldier
combat
will have a different intelligence rating that will impact how quickly they gain these points over others. Yeah. And you can see on the right, combat intelligence above average. She is currently 8 AP that you can use in this other training facility. As far as I know, the base classes and their skills have not been changed. But I don't, at the higher ranks, maybe that's different, I'm not sure. And you can see under that status, they are now tired.
Efficiently executed and no casualties. You can leave
Cool
the
new
Reapers
end
any
screen.
day, Commander. Well
And
done.
How long do you think it will be?
so this is explaining that Mox has been captured, and I'm thinking that they can capture anybody. It may have just been really unlucky that they captured Mox.
The Resistance factions can help us locate our captive
But I like
soldier.
that. I think
We
that
deploy
those
on a
kind of
covert
missions
action
are
alongside
they
them.
feel a lot more weighty. They feel a lot more significant when you're trying to rescue your own soldiers. So these are more of the memes or posters. Now I'm just gonna go into some of the other areas to see what else is new around the base.
You know, I probably wouldn't be alive today if it weren't for your father. He was something of a miracle worker.
Getting the Avengers' power back online was a miracle. I'm not entirely sure how he deciphered their system, but we'd still be half buried in the sand if he hadn't. He gave everything he had to get the ship running. But he didn't live long enough to see her fly.
We owe you both a debt of gratitude.
You can honor his memory by using this ship to destroy.
So I'm just giving you guys a look at the new Reaper
no argument
outfits.
here.
Any new soldier that I have, I would go through and check out all of their different customization options. And there are a pretty significant amount of them. You can see that we have Advent stuff in here, Avatar things, Andromedons. But the main ones are specific to the Reaper class at the top. Not a ton of variation in the actual suits that they wear.
I'll be there soon. I'll be there soon. Covering ground.
So I'm going to take us back out to the tactical map now, and we're going to be interrupted.
yourselves, lest you be restrained.
No, the three of us called upon together. Something has changed.
On that, we are agreed. The battlefield has shifted. Our masters have need of us once more.
Sounds to me like they're afraid.
You dare defile this place with your wretched tongue?
Oh, I dare.
Our children. Each of you possess our strength. Each of you possess our wisdom. Of all our creations, you are truly blessed. Your charge was a simple one. The subjugation of those who would see our grand design falter. We have been pleased. Until now. Our greatest asset has been lost, stolen from us, while our strongest did nothing. We are disappointed.
Thought you were the strongest.
You have fought the humans for too long. You have been corrupted. You can be reclaimed. Yet perhaps you may also be redeemed. Perhaps you all may be redeemed. A greater battle lies ahead. Our time on this world draws to a close. Yet we need not abandon it completely at our departure. For one among you is surely ready to claim this world as their own. One among you is worthy.
Commander, we've just made contact with a new faction of the Resistance known as the Reapers. They're an elusive bunch, but this is their headquarters. We can scan at this location now to start benefiting from our newfound cooperation.
So this is the commander. Dragonova spoke highly of you and the rest of your team. Trust me, that does not happen often. You are all welcome here. I will admit I had some concerns with this alliance of yours, but from what I hear, this skirmisher, Mox, was captured protecting one of my own. Reapers have long memories, Commander. We will honor our end of the deal. Volk, out.
Your tenacity could prove your undoing, Commander. If you would seek a fight with me, I hope you are truly ready to match my skills.
So there we go, guys. I'm going to wrap up the video shortly here. I'll probably let it play out until up to the beginning of the next mission in case you're just eager to take a closer look at the different interface changes they've made or anything new on the Geoscape. But I'm really looking forward to this personally. This is something that is revitalizing my love for XCOM. Not that it had ever really gone away, but I've played so much of it that having a big overhaul like this really makes things exciting to jump in there and feel that freshness again. While not being completely lost at the same time. So I'm excited about it. I'm really pumped to see what these chosen kind of, I don't want to call them rulers, but these chosen bosses can really do. I didn't get a chance to experience the pain that is possible from them, but that kind of keeps things exciting too. So we'll see how that goes. So we got new factions, new systems, new enemies, new weapons, new soldiers, new mechanics like fatigue, bonding, different ways of leveling up your soldiers. Like, everything. It feels like everything's kind of changed. But at the core, it's still that really good XCOM experience that we know and love. So I'm pretty pumped. Hope you guys are too. Let me know what your thoughts are. And once again, thank you to you guys, because without you guys, I wouldn't be in a position where I'm able to check out this stuff early. And I consider that a pretty big privilege. So I really appreciate you guys watching and taking the time out of your day. Take care, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Once we've collected sufficient intel to make contact, we'll need to scan the target region for the operative signal.
I was created as the herald of